Well, hello YouTube. Welcome back to my channel, Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and today we're going to work on a stihl chainsaw. This is a 032. Well, that thing looks bigger than no 032. But what we've got to fix on it is underneath here, where the bushings go that holds that in place. This piece of aluminum had broke right here, and the threads, like that's on that side right there, is broke off. Now we'll see more of that once I get this off, if I can get it off. I hope I can get it off without damaging anything. But we're going to make two bushings to go in here and see if we can't make some kind of a bracket to mount to this that will accept the bolt that goes through it, and go from there. So this first thing we want to do is we want to take this orange piece off if we can, and take this blade off so this thing ain't so god awful to move around. I don't believe there's any gas in it. Yep, she's dry. So we'll go ahead and take, I don't believe his brake is working either. Unless that's not a brake. It should be a brake. Well, that ain't what he told me to fix, so we're going to quit looking at that. Well, from what I can see, it looks like it's just that one screw there. We're going to turn the video off, and we're going to see if we can't find something that will work, and we'll reconvene when I find something that will work. Alright, we got somewhat of a plan here. I found these two bushings right here that came off of the refrigerator that held the pump down to the frame, or the motor, or pump mount. And they're pretty solid. They've got a little cutout on the inside of it, but it doesn't matter, simply because I don't want to need from here out to the end. And this little tip right here fits right in that hole with no problem. So what I planned on doing was taking and cutting that down to fit in here, and make one for each side. You know, something like that, and it will go up in the hole just like that, and we'll cut that down to fit so it's not pushing in that direction, and make it so it fits. And because this ear here is broke off, basically what I'm going to do, I found this block that came off of something else, and what I'd planned on doing was drilling this out for this bolt to go through, and then drill the bottom out and tap it so that it will mount in this hole right here, and that will give me a solid bolt hole to go through, and this will be held on by a bolt. So the first thing I need to do is cut this piece square and then drill out the bottom of it, tap it, then I'll come in and drill this the size of that, and then it would have been nice, and I probably still can, once I get this in there, this here will slide right in there, and it's got threads in it, so I really wouldn't need to thread anything here. I could thread this rod all the way through to the other side and just put a nut on each side of it, and that will hold it fairly decent. And I've got two of those, and they will go on something like that right there. Now, this is just an idea. I might get into something here and find that we can do it a different way, so it'll look something like that but shorter, and these will be cut down to fit the hole, and then this will go in there just like so. Basically like that. And I think that'll work. So now we need to cut this block and tap it out and put it in behind here, put a bolt in it, and go from there. So that's what we're going to do next. So we're going to get busy cutting and drilling. And everybody's seen a bandsaw cut a piece of metal, and everybody's seen drilling a hole, and I'll show you the finished product, and we'll get to that. Alright, now that we've got our pieces made, find a washer here real quick. Alright, so now what we've done is I made this piece right here and rounded it off so it doesn't hit the bottom of this. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to go underneath here on this part. Get it lined up. There we go. Alright, then we put I tapped it out 1/4 by 20. Now I might have to cut my nut down or bolt down a little bit. Nope. That way this will go all the way through it. Like that. And then the only thing I have to do now is I cut the bottom off of these bushings like that, and they're pretty thick, and they will go in here something like that right there, and this one will be pushed over and the second one put in. It's a little tight, but that's alright. We don't want it to fall out. we get it lined up into the hole here, it'll fit pretty nice. Then we'll take this and run it through all the way. Then I put a washer on those little, I don't know what you call those. They're basically sleeves threaded out. So I'll thread the first one on it. And then we're going to put a nut on each side. It'd be nice if I could find some thin ones, but that ain't going to happen. Have to rob Peter to pay Paul. Alright, then we put the nut on there, and then we'll pull that through. And we'll do the same thing to this side. I would cut it off first, but I don't want to screw up the threads. Once I get it on there, then I can cut it off and I'll know it's the right size. Probably should have put some flats on that so I could put a wrench on it and turn it on there. Yes, I know this is not the correct way to do this, but it will work just fine. So we'll just take and put these in here, get them nice and just to where they're touching. You don't want to squish them. Now the vibration of the saw will jiggle that to the point where the bushing will work fine. So alright, then we'll put our other nut on here. And tighten them down. And then we'll tighten that one down. And then we'll cut that off. And I'll probably take it and use the grinder to cut that off. Yeah, I have to use the grinder. But anyway, there you go. So you have movement. Still yet. It ain't as much as what it would be originally. But, you know, he's not worried about that. He's worried about making this saw useful again. To where it's usable. And that's all he's worried about. But I have a feeling he's going to find out that he's going to have more problems than doing that. So now we're just basically putting it back together. Alright, we've got it fixed. Like I said before, it's not perfect, but like I said, he just wants to get it to where it's operational. And basically all I done was made a block to go in there, which you've already seen, and I threaded it to put a 1/4 bolt in it to hold it to this plate, and drilled a hole in it for this bolt to go through, and that will be center to that, so, or close to center, and it'll just hold the bolt that went through it in place. And these bushings have just enough play to where it's not going to vibrate the crap out of you. So I just used 3/8 threaded rod through the steel block that I made, and used rubber washers off of a refrigerator pump that was the bushing for the bottom of the refrigerator pump, and the sleeves that are threaded, I threaded them on. That gives that way the threads are not hitting the rubber, and then I just put a nut on each side to lock it in place, and that's not going to go anywhere. So pretty good shape. And if you notice, I put total, the words where they read right. And I adjusted the blade. Of course, he's got to do some oiling and stuff like that. If this was my saw, I'm going to tell you, this thing would look like a brand new one, because it'd be tore all apart, repainted, and kept up, missing a few parts, but that's not what I was told to fix. So I don't fix things unless I'm told to fix it, or asked